So we wanted to give this pond project a little bit of a North Woods feel. And so we've decided that we're going to plant some white pines up here on this ridge close to our walking path. So I'm envisioning this trail to be lined with trees, and we've chosen a hybrid crimson maple, I think they call it, and they're going to plant those every 24 feet along the trail.
Earlier in our pond build, we had to knock down a number of trees in order to dig out the pond. And we featured a video where we piled them up and burnt them. Now we got some comments wondering why we didn't sell the trees or set them aside and cut them for firewood. And honestly, we were just so excited to get on to the next step that we just wanted to be rid of the trees as quickly as we could and didn't want to deal with them. In hindsight, maybe we should have done a better job with that. But hopefully, in this video, we're going to replace those trees almost one for one. And this won't be the end of the tree planting around the pond, but a big thanks to Evergreen Landscape Construction Supply for supplying our trees and planting them. We got a good deal on them as they were clearancing them out for the year, and the guys did an awesome job in planting them. It's going to bring a whole different dimension to the pond edge. So these red maples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red maples, and then I think there's 9 or 10 white pines planted right up there on the side hill, and then there's an elm in the far back. This white pine grove right here on the side hill, and got some water lines run. An elm tree back there, in amongst the derecho stumps. This will be a good ridge in the future. Well, it's a good ridge now, but and then this row of red maples turn red in the fall to line the trail here, and that'll be nice. So we were advised to water each tree for 2 hours at a time at a slow trickle, and then just move the hose from one tree to the next. Well, we've got 17 trees, and at 2 hours a tree, there's not enough time in the day. You'd be moving the hose every 2 hours. And so what we did is went and got a bunch of different lengths of hoses and Y splitters and created a series of hoses so that every tree has its own water source. So after the trees are established and we don't need the water lines anymore, we'll have a surplus of various length hose. So hit us up if you need hoses and we'll reserve some for you. And then also here we've got the makings of an electric fence to put around the new trees to keep the deer from eating them. So we'll give you an update on how we install that to help protect these trees here. One thing that has not gone to plan is ground anchors. Ground anchors and tying around those logs that are floating out in the water. That did not work. And so I would advise against at least 15-inch ground anchors. You're going to need something a lot longer to dig into the surface. It just doesn't have the holding power. Or maybe we just didn't put enough of them on there. I don't know. Those logs were dry, and so we're hopeful that this brush pile stays down, because we just pulled these trees in May, I think. It's August now, so they should still be fairly wet. So while we haven't added any more water to the pond since the last video, we have been busy planning and acquiring more pieces to the puzzle. Guys, if you didn't know, there are so many facets to building a pond. Many we had thought about, and a bunch more that we've had to account for as we've encountered them. We've had the aeration pump in the garage for the last month and a half at least, but that can't go in until we get the electrical wire run to the pond edge.
So we want to fish a line so we can pull wire through this conduit into the basement of the house. I was told there is a tool for this called a mouse, some fuzzy little thing that they attach a string to, but a guy at an electrical supply company told me I could accomplish the same with a plastic bag. So I've taken this small grocery bag, cut it, and tied a string to it, and we'll see how this works. Turn on vacuum on the inside. Wow, that worked. Goes through that fast.
We also need to bury the 3-inch recirculating waterfall pump water line underneath the stream bed. And we need to extend the electrical conduit, but before we do that, we need to dig another trench to bury that line. Stuff always takes longer than you planned. We've been searching for boulders to build the waterfall stream bed and talked to some local individual sellers to help save some money in coordinating those deliveries. We also had the busted up concrete distributed in areas that were more heavily eroding and been working on more homemade pond structures and planning the positioning of those. We've been shopping for the streamliner and underlayment and have acquired that finally. In July and August, the weeds and grasses have sure sprouted up on the slopes. So we started our rock collection here. Found a local farmer. Has a bunch of granite rocks in their field, and $40 a ton. Pretty good deal. That snake didn't make it. No, he did make it. Garter snake. Yeah, come out, quick! Right over your head! When we first saw this hot air balloon, they were trying to land in the small open space up in the front yard, which isn't very big at all. And then they thought better of it, and then they gave it some more hot air, lifted up, floated over the pond, and then ultimately found a spot, maybe a quarter mile to the west of us. They were so low we could hear the conversation they were having in the basket as they were trying to strategize on how they were going to land this thing as the sun was setting. This was kind of a cool and unusual sight. Now, we don't bank at Lynn Area Credit Union, but if you do, leave us a note in the comments and we'll figure out how to get in touch with somebody there and see if they'd be open to a sponsorship for this video.
Well, so that was something you don't see every day. They were looking for a place to land, but we don't have a big enough spot for them here.
Is this where the waterfall is?
Nope. You should watch my videos.
What?
I guess.
Oh.
Sure.
Thanks for watching our update. As you can see, we've got a lot of activity going on at the pond and some big projects queued up here in the near future. Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you again soon.